Hi, I'm Jayzen Patria, and my company helps organizations get the best out of their workforce by helping them find their true brand voice and bringing their authentic selves to the table every single day. Now, I've worked in Hollywood for over 25 years, working with some of the best and brightest brands and their leaders. And today I jet set around the world talking at conferences and working with organizations and corporations to make sure that everyone can bring their strengths and their passions to the table and show their value and lead with their brand every single day. Now here's my 5 tips to leading with your brand. Step number 1 is to define your audience. Now, I know what you're thinking. You can work on any team. You can work for any boss. You can work for any company, and you can serve any customer. And while that's probably true because you have amazing expertise, here's what we know about great brands. When you're trying to be everything to everybody, you're really being nothing to no one. So you've got to define your target audience. And it's really simple. Think about the people who love you. Who are your raving fans today? Who buys your services? Who promotes you? Who asks you to be on their team? What's the secret sauce between that group of folks that you can define as your tribe that your brand can super serve? Step number 2, you've got to know what you stand for today. Now, here's the dirty little secret. We can all smell inauthenticity from a mile away, and it reeks. So if you're thinking, I want to be Steve Jobs, or I want to be Sheryl Sandberg, or I want to have Oprah Winfrey's brand, here's the truth. You're not Oprah, and you're never going to be her. Who you are is you, and what you can be is the best you can be. So you've really got to start by thinking authentically, what is your brand today? What are those words and adjectives that people have used to describe you, sometimes even since you were a little kid? But think back, what have your last bosses said about you? What do your customers say they love about you? If you can find those 5 to 8 words, those can become your brand attributes that you lead with all of the time, and they're authentically you. Step number 3 is refine who you want to be. Now, this is all about turning up the volume to be the best you can be. We're going to take those 5 to 8 brand attributes that you came up with in the last step, and now I need you to go through that McDonald's drive-thru and supersize them. Or even better yet, are you a Marvel superhero? What's your superpower? I want you to take those great words. So don't just say, hey, I'm a good presenter. I say, I'm a showman. I don't just say, hey, I'm well networked and have great relationships with people. I say I'm a super connector. Your challenge is to take those words and supersize them to make them uniquely you in a way that only you can own them. Step number 4 is keep up your image. Now that you've created your 5 to 8 supersized brand attributes, you've got to live it every single day. And the bottom line is a brand isn't just about words that you put on paper. It's about the actions and the choices you make every single day. So you've got to take those brand attributes and peel the layers back and say, if a reality film crew followed you last week and we played that tape back, what are the things that we would see? What are the words and actions that we would hear that we would use that adjective to describe you? Then you need to start emulating that behavior. Now, great brands think about a brand filter, and that's all about creating the formula that is the way that you dress, the way you maintain your office space, and the way you create your signature projects. So no matter how boring a project or task you've been given, can you do it in a way that brings your brand attributes to life that really promotes you? Step number 5 is promote yourself. Now, you know that old saying, if a tree falls in the forest and no one saw it, did it really fall? Guess what? The same thing is true about your brand. You can do all of this work to put it on paper and be thoughtful about your actions and your choices, but if no one's hearing about it, nobody knows about you. Now, great marketers know that we need to see an image or a message 7 times before we even have awareness. And that's just awareness, not even an intent to purchase. So when you think that you've put yourself out there, you haven't put yourself out there enough. Now, there's 3 ways to really think about this. 1 is what's your marketing? That's what you say about yourself. What's your elevator pitch? How do you show up on brand at a meeting or on a conference call? The second is all about those influencers out there. And the Kardashians have something that's really smart and working for them. You've got to do that too. Who are those folks that are your brand ambassadors that love you and talk about you when you're not in the room? What have you done lately to make sure that you're top of their mind? And the final thing is all about word of mouth. Now, there's no easy solution to this because that means you have to show up with your actions and behaviors every single day. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room, whether that's an amazing tailwind that helps you go further or one of those headwinds that's dragging you back. So those are our 5 tips to leading with your brand. Now you might be a little bit overwhelmed, and here's the thing. It's just about 1 or 2 actions that you can take today that get you moving in the right direction. I'd say start with step 1 and really figure out who your tribe is. Once you've conquered that and figured that out, you can move on to the following steps. But here's the thing, there's no right or wrong, there's only what's right for you. We want you to lead with your brand and make sure that you're not a commodity like coffee. I want you to be a super premium brand like Starbucks.